Okay, WWE are not playing around anymore. Not only are they mentioning released superstars in every promo, the pain doesn't stop there. Vince McMahon found a new technique on how to torture wrestlers. And it's so disgusting.
You're gonna sit here with me in my office, and we're gonna watch the entire show.
I feel so sorry for these guys. This is not a joke. I hope Austin Theory is okay. Maybe that's why so many wrestlers got released. They just couldn't sit through 3 hours of Raw. Okay, this joke would make a lot more sense if Raw actually sucked. You know what, people, I'm gonna shock you. Raw was alright. It was alright. I can live with it.
Oh my god, TheGreatOne, are you okay?
Sure, I'm fine. Don't worry. I checked my temperature. I went to the doctor. It's all good. But then I told him that I enjoyed Raw, and he basically said, "Oh, that? Well, you're fine." We'll see how it goes. But welcome back to the channel, everyone. You know what to do to grow your Coco Jumbo, your schmeckle to the moon. And that's 1,000 steps to get my videos on your feed. Like, subscribe, notifications, bell on, whatever, shake your ding dong, whatever it takes, man. 1,000 steps and you'll be good. It'll make me a very happy boy. I know I'm shocking the wrestling world right here, but Monday Night Raw was actually pretty good. By good, I mean I didn't fall asleep 69 times during it, so that's already a plus. And obviously people are comparing this segment between Miz and Edge with the segment we saw in AEW between MJF and CM Punk. Sure, I'm 100% convinced it's a copy. WWE ripped this segment off. Obviously. Is it wrong though? Should you complain? No. Not at all. Who cares? Obviously it wasn't as good, this was just spectacular. But whatever it takes for WWE to give us something entertaining, I think this segment was really good and it didn't feel as scripted, which is very rare in the WWE. It kinda felt real. Was it a bit forced? Sure. I just love the fact that WWE went like, you know what? Wrestling outside of WWE actually exists.
It's not only the WWE universe we're living in.
It's funny to me, you know, I don't understand this WWE versus AEW mentality when it comes to the fans. You're a consumer, you shouldn't care, you shouldn't give a shit as long as it's entertaining. So that's what you should do. You watch one segment, you watch the other segment, and decide which one is better. Just enjoy it, that's all you gotta do. AEW mentions WWE all the time, and that's great. I love it. WWE mention AEW right now, and that's great. I love it too. The show kicks off with the devil himself, Seth Rollins. Ah, that's so cute. He borrowed Becky's jacket. Couple goals. And Seth Rollins has some breaking news for everybody. He announced that at WWE pay-per-view called Day 1, we will see Seth Rollins versus Big E for the WWE Championship. And he says it's gonna be a new era on Monday Night Raw once he becomes the WWE Champion. He gets interrupted by Finn Bálor and we jump straight into a brawl. The referee checks on Seth Rollins and Seth says, "Let's do this," and we finally saw a match between the two. I think the match was alright, but I do have some problems with this one, and I'm sure most of you will agree. So Seth Rollins strikes Finn Bálor in the eye, curb stomp, and he wins the match. Obviously, Rollins needs that victory a lot more, but you know, once Finn Bálor came back to the main roster, I expected something different. He was a whole different man in NXT, so it felt like Finn Bálor right now, the Finn Bálor we see, is a main eventer. He's gonna do something important, and he's basically the same Finn Bálor we saw in 2017, 18, 19, 20. It's back to the basics. WWE have no idea what to do with Finn Bálor. And they're not. I have no idea what was the point of bringing that guy back if you still have no plans for him. Vince McMahon invites Austin Theory to his office and says we're gonna watch Raw together.
But if you steal my egg one more time, I'll kill you.
Because releasing a wrestler is not enough anymore. 10 minutes into Raw and Austin Theory is already balding in weird ways. Vince McMahon is a psycho. And then we see the WWE Raw Women's contract signing. So one of the positives of tonight's show is that we got some really cool promo work. Becky says she did what she did last week to see if Liv Morgan has some fire in her. She says she already signed the contract and has nothing else to do. Deville says the match will take place next week. And you know, since Becky Lynch made fun of Liv Morgan crying last week, Liv shows some footage of Becky crying after her match against Charlotte, which kinda seemed like a heel move. Aw, she's crying, what a puss. What a puss, she's crying, what a puss. But obviously Becky got the taste of her own medicine. But things got heated when Liv Morgan says, Becky is the reason her own friend is gone, like Becky's big bloated contract is the reason Liv's friends are gone from WWE. Ooh, on one hand, great promo. You know, I like when WWE involves something real. I'm not gonna complain. I'm just gonna point it out how weird it actually is that WWE released a bunch of wrestlers and they wrote that. Like, that was their idea. Imagine Vince McMahon telling Liv Morgan,
Oh, you're gonna say that a bunch of wrestlers got released because of Becky's contract.
and she's looking like, what the f***, Becks? I liked these people. So it is kinda weird, but, you know, WWE are just trying to get that social media reaction, and it obviously works. Becky says she actually made a match for tonight, a Big 10 women tag team match, Team Liv versus Team Becky. I like how they said show the graphic, you know, it kinda made things a bit more, again, real. We always complain about WWE's overproduction, but it kinda felt like, you know, we can mention the fact that these people are turning on these screens and putting on these graphics, so give me the... You know what I'm talking about, hopefully, because I have no idea. I don't know, it just felt a bit more natural. Riddle is confused why Randy Orton is not dressed as Riddle. He gives all of these ideas and Randy's like, stop. I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but we have a championship match. That's what we need to focus on. Okay, Randy, but close your eyes. He puts a wig on Randy's head, and Randy says, I'm gonna count to 3, and if you're not gonna put this off, and really quickly reacts. As a big Randy Orton fan, goddamn. Ooh, mama. So we saw the WWE Raw Tag Team Championship match. RK Bro versus Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode. And you see, people, I might be a teacher on this channel. I might be changing the wrestling business, but I'm learning as well. It's not RK Bro, it's RK Bro. I'm a bit of a genius, you know, but I'm gonna stay humble. This was a fun match. It made me realize how many cool tag team moves the Dirty Dogs have. They are really a cool tag team, it just kinda sucks that they lack credibility. So this was a fun match, and obviously I loved the ending. Randy Orton versus a super kick, goes for some kind of a roll-up straight into RKO. And obviously Ziggler selling always gets us moist. Many wrestling fans are saying that RK Bro is no longer entertaining, they're cringy, they should break up. I don't know about that. I believe there's so much more stuff to do, and it would be a shame if it already ended. I know eventually Randy Orton is gonna turn on Riddle, and that's the story we are going to get, but I just don't want to see it yet. It's one of these tag teams I don't want to see breaking up. Kevin Owens says, Adam Pearce told me, you know, the bald dude, that if I win against Big E tonight, I'll be added to the match and it's going to be a triple threat WWE Championship match. Seth thinks it's a joke, but Kevin Owens assures Seth Rollins that it's true. I mean, Owens never lies. So Seth Rollins approaches Adam Pearce and says, what is that all about? He tells what Kevin Owens told him, and Adam Pearce says, I have no idea, that's not even true. Then we see Sonya Deville talking to Adam Pearce, and she says, well, that's actually a pretty cool idea. So later on the show, we see Seth Rollins talking to Kevin Owens again, saying that, you're lying, you're a liar, I talked to Adam Pearce. Owens says, I didn't lie. So Seth Rollins goes to the office again and says, you gotta do something about this. Kevin Owens is still lying. Well, we just talked about it and it seems like a great idea, and you can imagine Seth Rollins is not too pleased. I don't mind the story, you know, but obviously it's gonna be really tough for the WWE to, you know, come up with stuff until January 1st. So far during the story, we barely got anything entertaining out of Big E, and that's pretty concerning. Then we saw the WWE United States Championship match. Apollo Crews versus Damian Priest, which was alright, but as expected, Damian Priest won the match. And that was basically it. Really hard to get invested in the story. Then we saw the Mysterios defeating the Hurt Business, which is really unimportant. Like, sure, I enjoyed this Raw because of great segments and a few good matches, but that's what sucks about Raw. It's 3 hours long, so we see all of this irrelevant shit that changes nothing. Then we saw the Big 10 Women Tag Team match, which was pretty okay. I mean, that's different. You know, that's a different approach to a storyline. But again, I just can't help but think that this is happening just to get through 3 hours of Raw. But at least it achieved something because Liv Morgan pinned Becky Lynch. So she did gain some credibility, I can't complain. These segments between Vince McMahon and Austin Theory were hilarious. Theory keeps looking at the screen and Vince is like,
Look at me. You gotta look at me when I'm talking to you.
I really hope it means that Vince is really invested in Austin Theory because he doesn't have to do it anymore. I mean, at this point in his career, I guess, he doesn't have to do this, and he rarely does. So he must really like Austin Theory. Edge returned to Monday Night Raw. He talked about all the potential opponents, but he didn't mention The Miz, and that's when we saw Miz returning with Maryse. I'm not sure how much you guys care, but that's the best version of The Miz to me. That's what made, people don't seem to realize, that's what made The Miz so special back in 2016. Of course, Miz is great, he's a great promo, but Maryse added so much to his credibility. That's the Miz that should have won the WWE Championship again. It's one of these promos that you gotta go watch on YouTube, but, you know, the Miz is basically offended that, you know, you got a special return announcement and all of that, and I didn't. Edge mocks Miz being on Dancing with the Stars. The Miz brags about it and Edge says, weren't you like 9th? And The Miz says, I and everybody else know that I actually won. But these people, this WWE universe forgot to vote for me. Even Jojo Siwa has a more loyal fan base. And then it got personal. Miz says, when was the last time you held a WWE Championship? Oh yeah, you were in the opening match of WrestleMania 27 and I main evented that pay-per-view. He says, I surpassed you in every way possible. Edge says Miz just bitches and moans, and little Mizzy needs a pat on the back. So he basically gave a bunch of compliments like, sure, you won against John Cena at WrestleMania. He says Miz made it further and higher than anyone thought he could or would, except The Miz. He believed it and made it happen. He says the big difference between them is Edge fought with every fiber in his being to get the small window back, while The Miz is just using WWE for his next endeavor. Reality shows, dance competitions, while leaving his partner to get fired. So that was the second time WWE mentioned all of these releases, and this one was, you know, about John Morrison, which by the way is still shocking to me how whatever, I already talked about this. He also said you got people on other shows mentioning your name to get a cheap pop. Obviously referring to the CM Punk and MJF segment. So I like this. I don't know about you guys. I know that many people seem to complain whenever AEW mentions WWE or the other way around. And I don't get it. Why would you care? All you need to do is be like, yo, I didn't expect to hear that. Awesome. Then they teased a brawl, but The Miz said no and left the ring. It may not be a rivalry that you are very excited about. I know you expected AJ Styles, but you need to realize that with Edge's storytelling, he always gets the best out of any superstar, so it's gonna be good. And The Miz is a great promo, so The Miz being in a very significant rivalry again, against Edge, this is gonna be big, and this is gonna basically fix Miz's credibility. AJ Styles acting blind was pretty funny, so we saw a tag team match. AJ Styles tried to interfere, seems like he was faking it, and the Street Profits still won the match. Vince McMahon asks,
did you learn anything?
Vince McMahon in a very weird way teaches a lesson that you always gotta expect the unexpected. And Austin Theory says, yes, I understand.
Oh, really?
He slaps Theory.
I just still have so much to learn.
Seems like he didn't learn anything. This was great. And in the main event, we saw Big E versus Kevin Owens. That was a pretty long match. Pretty good. Seth Rollins was on commentary. Gotta love the drip of this man. And I don't want to exaggerate this, but this whole thing kinda made Seth Rollins stupid. He obviously knows that if Kevin Owens wins the match, well, it's gonna turn into a triple threat match. And he doesn't want that, right? But he was so easily manipulated by Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens attacked Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins then interfered. KO got disqualified, meaning that Kevin Owens won the match, and he's added to the WWE Championship match, and Rollins is shocked. I mean, realistically, he thought about this for 3 hours of Raw. He knew what to do. Attack Big E, and Big E wins. That's it. So it kind of does make Seth Rollins look stupid. It's very illogical, and I wish it was done a bit differently. And that was your Monday Night Raw. Pretty okay, you know. Again, I don't really expect a lot from these shows, but I guess it goes to show you how much Edge adds to the show. And like I've said, I wish Sami Zayn was on Monday Night Raw as well, because instead of all of these terrible 24/7 championship segments, I would rather watch Sami Zayn acting insane. But thank you for watching this video. As always, the great one. Peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.